Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another Q&A. So really looking forward to answering some of these questions. I've got some good questions from you all, so thank you so much. Remember, if you'd like to see another Q&A after this one, to make sure you put some more questions in the comments box below for me. Okay, so I'm going to get straight onto this. It's been a while since the last Q&A, so sorry about that. But with the school holidays and stuff, it's just been difficult finding time by myself to actually record something like this type of video. So let's get on with it. I will put a link to everyone who has put a question out to me in the description below. So go and check out all the links and all the channels, see if there's anyone you're not subscribed to. Okay, so the first question is from Pink Eye Productions, Mike, and he says, if the technology was available, would you upgrade your body like Iron Hand Space Marines or a Necron type body? I wouldn't like upgrade my body just for the sake of it. If a part of my body was, you know, like getting old, you know, if I had an arm and I couldn't move it anymore and my fingers were all crippled and stuff, then yeah, I'd go out and get a Necron arm. But I wouldn't just like change my body just without, you know, for no reason. So the answer is yes, I would, but only if I had a reason to. Next question is from Modeling Loonie. If you had a chance to revamp an old TV series, which one would you choose and why? It's probably fair to say that most of the TV series that I used to like from my younger days have already been revamped. Most of them have, to be fair. I did have a think about this question. My initial sort of response was maybe Blake 7, which probably is more of a UK based sort of sci-fi TV series that we had, but I'm actually going to not go for that. I'm going to go for Steve Austin, the Bionic Man, because I used to really like watching that as a kid. And the guy, I can't remember the guy that played Steve Austin, but I remember he also did another TV series, The Fall Guy, when he's like a stunt man. I really liked him in that as well. But yeah, I'm going to go for $60 Million Man. Was it $6 Million Man? Can't remember now. Because although I can't really remember that much about it, I just remember sort of being really cool. This man made of like bionic bits, could run much faster and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to go for the $60 Million Man. Or was it $6 Million Man? I'm sure it's $60 million. Can't remember. But yeah, Steve Austin. Next question is from Spider666. Do you think that the TV series, The Big Bang Theory, has had any influence in the popularity and the acceptance of gaming? They are often seen playing games, so I was just wondering. With Big Bang TV series, Big Bang Theory, I have watched. Don't watch it religiously, but I've watched a good number of episodes. I don't think it's had any influence on the acceptance of gaming, to be fair. It's a good TV series. I enjoy it. It's got a lot of jokes in there that I get. I actually know quite a number of young females, like female colleagues, like 18-year-olds and stuff that watch it a lot, which surprised me actually, to be fair. I thought it was more of a boys type programme, but obviously not. But yeah, whether it's had any influence on the acceptance of gaming, I would say no. I can't see that it would have done, to be fair. Okay, so now it's cruorangelussilicis. Mike, does your wife ever fancy painting up some minis, and what does she think of your YouTube channel? And does she watch your videos? Thank you, Mike, for that question. Let's deal with these. There's 3 parts. Does your wife ever fancy paintings and minis? She doesn't. When we first met, she said, yeah, I will. And she was actually going to paint my Tyranids. But yeah, that soon fizzled out. She's not even tried painting anything. Yeah, we have played a game of 40k many years ago when we first met. She had a go. I played with Necrons. She played... No, I played Space Wolves. She played Necrons. And we just played like a 500 point game or something. It was okay. She didn't dislike it, but then she didn't like it enough to want to play a game. And I certainly haven't forced it on her, and she hasn't asked. So, no. So basically the answer is no, she's not fancy painting anything. I have suggested it to her many times actually, how about, because she doesn't have any hobbies. And I don't know if you guys find that women just don't tend to have so many hobbies as men, from my experience. My ex-wife had no hobbies, and my current wife has no hobbies. Check this out, okay? But we talked about this obviously because I've got my hobby, and I said, why don't you just get a hobby? Why don't you have a hobby? And she said, oh, my hobby is diamonds. So okay, so she went actively trying to find hobbies. She's done the gym, that sort of stuff, but she can't actually find like a hobby, like we've got. And then check this out. So she, in replacement of not being able to find a hobby, she got herself a second job. Funny enough, working at the gym. So she works all day at accounts. She works in accounts, and then in the evening she does a couple of hours at the gym now and again. It's just like it's a zero contract. Like phone her up. Oh, can you come in tonight? Yeah, I'll come in a couple of hours. That type of thing. But in her interview, they said to her, "Well, you've got this full-time job. Why do you want to work here?" She goes, "Well, I need a hobby, and why not do something as a hobby if I can get paid for it?" So I thought that was quite funny. Okay, so what was the next part? What does she think of your YouTube channel? Well, she is subscribed to my channel because when I first started it, obviously I was trying to get a few subs, so I got to subscribe to it. She doesn't really go on YouTube that much for pretty much anything, but I know she doesn't watch my videos. She has seen a couple. She saw the one when our daughter was in it, and she saw the one, the Salute, Help for Heroes Salute one, because I think she's quite interested to see what happened on the day when we went to Salute. Excuse me. So she has seen a couple, but now she doesn't watch the videos. What does she think of my channel? She doesn't really say that much about my channel or hobby, but I have definitely sensed a change around. The other day I came home and said, "Oh, hit 4,000 subscribers today on the channel," and she didn't say a word, but I could tell from her reaction she was quite impressed with that. I think almost surprised. I was like, really? She didn't say a word though. And I think she's got a bit more respect for my hobby than she used to have, especially when her friends come round and I'll be painting, and her friend would come in and say, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then I'd show her what I'm doing, and then I'd maybe get out a few other models to show her friends because they seem to take a bit of interest. So like, "Oh yeah, this is my avatar that I painted," showed her my avatar, her friend, and our friend was like mega impressed, like, "Wow, that's really good. Maybe you could like paint stuff and sell it and make some money from it." Bear in mind, my wife's Asian and her friends are Asian, so I think they're a bit more business orientated maybe than we are. And yeah, I think that also got my wife thinking as well, because since that event happened, I sort of sense a bit more acceptance that the hobby, that I am doing something, creating something, and that maybe one day when all of my armies are painted, might be able to make a few pennies from painting minis, possibly, like commission work and stuff. So you never know, the future. Yeah, so it's that part. The final part is, does she watch your videos? No, I answered that one. Okay, that's that question then. Next one is from UnitedWarGamer. When AoS first came out, what did you think of all the old Warhammer Fantasy players getting beep off and burning their whole army? And now, after some time has passed, what are your thoughts on the game and the community? Okay, that's a good question, thank you. Okay, so what do I think about players getting beep off and burning their whole army? Well, I've seen people burn their 40k army before. In particular, it was a Necron one actually. Can't remember who it was. He's not on YouTube anymore. But yeah, burnt his army. Yeah, so I can understand somebody's frustration. I can understand someone wanting to give up. I can't really understand burning their army. Surely just give it to someone who is going to make use of it and have some fun from it. Because that will stop them buying the GW model. So you are sort of like going against GW still. I can't see any point in burning an army, really, to be fair. If you don't want it, fair enough. If you want to give up, fair enough. Either sell it or just give it away. But you know, why burn it? I don't know. I don't get that. Now, after time has passed, what are your thoughts on the game and the community? I have no thoughts on the game. I don't know a huge amount about it, to be fair, because I'm never going to ever play it. I have no interest in it at all. I've heard a few opinions from different people, some that love it, some that hate it. Everyone's got an opinion that's different, and that's fair enough. Like I said, I have no interest in it really, so I'm not going to have an opinion on it, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it is good to have a pick-up game that somebody can just come in and pick up a little box set and take it home, have a few games and stuff. It seems to do the job quite nicely. I'm very surprised about the size of the models, of the new models, and the look, because they do fairly look like Space Marines. But I don't know, I'm sure there's a big picture behind the whole thing, which may eventually involve 40k, who knows. But yeah, I don't really have any opinions, you know. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. You know, it's up to them. Okay, next question is from Grawlys Lair. What other channels would you like to see do a Q&A video? Or what other channels you enjoy watching their Q&A vids? Okay, I'm going to answer the second question first. The channels that I'd like to enjoy watching do Q&A is Pete from Mini Warzone, because he was my inspiration to make my Q&A. So thank you, Pete. He always does great in front of camera videos. So I really like Pete's Q&As. And I like the length of his ones as well, because they're similar to mine, 20, 25 minutes, you know, depending on how many questions he's got. I'm not a fan of like 2-hour Q&As, so I just don't have the time to watch them. But yeah, I would say Pete from Mini Warzone, and if you're not subbed, go and check it out, just like all the other channels here that I'm talking about. Okay, what channels would you like to see do Q&A? Now this is easy. the channel instantly came to my mind, and I've actually spoken to the person about doing it, so hopefully it will happen, because I think he'll make great Q&As, and that is Commissar Gamza. Love watching his videos, they're always so funny, it always comes up with such random stuff. I just imagine like being best buddies with him and like going out on for a night with him. I reckon it'd be so funny just whittling on about random stuff. But I think he'd make great Q&A. He's really interesting character. I think that he'd come up with some really good answers, and I think it'd be really funny. So Mr. Gamza, please, a Q&A from you. Yes, please, get a Q&A up. I would love to see it. That actually brings me swiftly on to the next question, which is actually from Commissar Gamza. So let's just have a drink. Okay, so Commissar Gamza says, okay, I've got a narrative question for you. You enter a tournament. The format is standard Maelstrom. You made it to the final battle for first place. As you're setting up your army, your opponent arrives. It's Commissar Gamza with his American Marines. What army did you bring, and what tactics do you intend to use against him to secure victory? Well, obviously I would have my English Space Marines, and oh, what are you talking about? No, we have to have American Marines. Oh yes, sir. Anyways, that's the sort of thing Gamza would do, come up with. Right, no, okay, so I'm in the first place in the running. I'm playing Gamza. He's got his American Marines. I would imagine, if I am playing a tournament, bear in mind I've never played in a tournament, but I think if I was like in the last game in a tournament, I'd probably have my Necrons with me. I'll probably be playing something like Super Flanks, I would have thought. And what tactics would I use against your Marines? Well, to be fair, I'll just use the same tactics that I use, because my tactics are generally based around my army, not your army. So my army will run pretty much the same, regardless of my opponent. Each unit's got dedicated things that it can do. Ideally, each unit has multiple things that it can do, and I will select the best things for that unit to beat you, basically. You particularly said this is a Maelstrom missions, so yeah, I'm gonna just set up around the objectives. If I was playing the Super Flanks at 2,000 points, I think I'd be able to get a reasonable amount of objectives on my side of the table. Yeah, I just play my army really. I wouldn't play against your army particular. I would just play my army how my army works. Yeah. Okay, so Commissar Gamza, by the way, if you don't know his channel, go and check it out. Not only is he an awesome guy, funny guy, he's very good at his Space Marine tactics, and he's got great Space Marine tactical videos. And he's also done a really fantastic terrain building series of videos, making terrain from trash, or from rubbish, as we would say. And he's made some fantastic results, some really good pieces of terrain. So go and check him out. Okay, next question is from Darby Conway. So I'm just checking the time. Right. If you could captain any starship in the Star Trek universe, what ship would you like the most? So thank you for the obligatory Star Trek comment, Darby. Although I'd like to be able to answer and say, I'd be the Enterprise, the truth is that wouldn't be the case. The truth is I'd probably be on some sort of cargo ship, on some sort of mediocre travel lane, backwards and forwards, doing nothing, I'm guessing into no trouble from alien species and stuff, I think it'd be pretty boring, to be fair. Because I'm a bit of a coward. I don't think I'd like to be in Picard's shoots or Kirk's shoots on the edge of the future, meeting all these races trying to destroy you and having to come up with all these like weird plans to try and like save everyone on the ship and stuff. So I would just I'd just take a mediocre job, mediocre captaincy. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for that question. Hopefully that's a good answer. Okay, next one is from Dr. Nick 247247. First time with a question, so thank you, Dr. Nick. You mentioned the AVP game. The minis look great. Were you a Kickstarter backer? And do you have any comments or advice for Prodos Games for if they ever do another Kickstarter, as a lot of backers were waiting for the product after it's already been sent out to the retailer? Okay, I have absolutely no idea. I had no involvement in the Kickstarter. I didn't even know that the game was made by Prodos Games. And I certainly didn't know anything about retailers receiving it before Kickstarter people. That would surprise me. I mean, if you backed it with a Kickstarter, I mean, unless the retailers have also backed it with a Kickstarter, then I'm assuming that the people who've done the Kickstarter would get their stuff first. I mean, that would be logical, wouldn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things really, I don't have a huge opinion on it because I don't really know much about it. But yeah, my advice would be to Prodos Games, you know, to send out the goods to the people who paid the money first. That's always the best way to do it. Put your money down and go to the top of the list. Next question is from Commissar Warwick. My question for the next time is Picard or Kirk? Okay, this is an easy question for me because definitely Kirk, Captain Kirk. On Picard's ship I like Riker, because for me he's basically Kirk. He talks and acts and he has the demeanour of Kirk, and I really like Kirk. I mean, he's the man. So yeah, Captain Kirk. Sound like Captain Caveman. You probably don't remember. Okay, next question is from Mini Warzone. Pete from Mini Warzone. Thank you, Pete, for your question. Would love to know what sort of thing you'd like to see for the next Tyranid Codex, other than have all the rules under one roof. I certainly would like all the rules under one roof. All these, like, well, we know the situation, you know, rules released after the Codex and stuff. It's like we've got rules everywhere at the moment. So all under one roof. What I'd really love for the Tyranid Codex, not just the Tyranid Codex, for every Codex, is please just put troops, heavy support, fast attack. I don't want a symbol. So yeah, you know, just if you want to put symbols there, but please, come on. Troops, heavy support, elites, please just write it on there. A new layout, and the Codex layouts, it is fair to say, is atrocious. You know, so you're trying to run a Warlord train. I mean, the Warlord train on Tyranid Codex page 38. It's like, come on, just stick it at the beginning or at the back and make it easy to find. You know, you've got your war gear here. You know, go to this page, go to that page. And then I don't like the like individual pages. Like you've got a page like Necron Warriors, blah blah blah. And it's like, see the war gear. Okay, there. Terrible. The layout is terrible of the new Codex, without a question. And And what I would really love to see in the new hardback codexes is a marker, a string as well. It'd be so useful. But that's not the question. Okay, so yeah, the question. What would I like to see other than rules in one roof? Well, I've been going through my obviously Tyranid learning curves, and it's become quite apparent how many Tyranid units are, I'm not going to say useless, but aren't that great. Excuse me. Now, it's a tough one because Tyranids are a very unique army, and in many ways Tyranids are very powerful, and in other ways are very, very weak. And getting the vision of what Tyranids are, which is basically loads and loads of bugs, starship troopers, you know, you've got like 5 men shooting together, but surrounded by all these bugs. And then you've got a few big bugs as well. Making that into an army, into rules that are going to work, is really, really difficult. I bet we would struggle to do that. And I think that's you've got to look at the Tyranid units in that way. You know, you've got to look at them and say, well, they're useless. You know, 6+ save, strength 3, toughness 3, blah blah blah. But you've got to look at them as a whole. And it's become quite apparent as I've gone through the Tyranid learning curve. It's like, well, you know, I'm making a video saying, well, this video isn't that great. There's better choices. So unit isn't that great. There's better choices. And I'm going to the next unit, and oh well, this isn't that great anyway. You know, and there are some great units. But there's many like not so good units and a few great units. So it's a tough one, because if you start making all those not so good units great and make all the units great, then it's going to be an incredibly overpowered army. Yeah, so it's a tough one. I reckon making probably the Tyranid Codex, I would say, is probably one of the hardest ones to get just right. Yeah. I don't know, we think we need new units. There are a few units I really would like to see change, like Shrikes and stuff. I used to, I mean, we can go on about rules and what makes them good and bad, blah, blah. But it was when Synapse used to stop instant death, that was good. Now you wouldn't want that on everything. So I wouldn't necessarily make Synapse stop instant death, but possibly make warriors have that special rule. That would solve their problem. Or maybe a psychic power that maybe you could try and get that gives you that special rule. I don't know. I mean, it's so difficult. It is difficult. So the answer to your question, Pete, which I'm obviously avoiding, is what would you like to see from the Tyranid Codex? Pretty happy with the Codex as it is, with the additional units that we've got, to be fair. So yeah, I don't know. I think I've answered it pretty much. It'd be nice to see some of the not quite so good units get a little bit better, not necessarily overpowered, but just a bit more usable. Yeah. Okay, so the last question is from Farseer Dodo, which I know his channel has had a new channel name change. I can't remember what it is, so sorry Tom about that. But the link is in the description below. And he has a question for me, but I've, to be fair, already had this question, but I'm going to very quickly answer it. So, have you read any Black Library Warhammer 40k books? No, I haven't. I only read Star Trek books. If so, which is your favourite? If not, what is your favourite book anyway? I have to say, any Star Trek book that's been written by William Shatner who obviously plays Kirk. His books are amazing. The Ashes of Eden, brilliant. So yeah, William Shatner, particularly William Shatner's Star Trek books. I haven't read any of his other books, because I know he's done quite a few other books, but I've only read his Star Trek ones. I only read Star Trek books, so I don't have time for any other books. That is it. That's this video's questions. So hopefully you enjoyed those answers. I'm gonna find it interesting watching this video back to see how I answered some of those questions as well. Yeah, if you'd like to see some more probing questions for me in the next video, then please put some questions in the comments box, because without those questions I can't make another video. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.